Well, ladies and gentlemen, I've delayed it. Y'all's waited for it. It's finally time to finish off this damn retrospective. Start, Starting off with James Bond versus John Wick. It's time to review the second half of Season 9. Let's get into it.
I'ma do this shit until they murder me.
Assumed that Q interpreted this pun as Bond saying, "I fucked him with my Giga Chad Sigma male sex powers and had a steamy gay smashdown." In which case, I don't know where to take this joke.
Easy, shove it up your ass. He knew that was a joke. So starting off with James Bond versus John Wick, let's talk about the first thing, the analysis. Well, first thing I would like to say is, why is the pen joke so overlong? What would he use it? Like, seriously, the pen will explode. That's literally the entire joke. I was literally waiting for the dang pen to explode. But other than that, that's dumbass joke. I'm sorry. Aside from that joke, I think the entire analysis is pretty well done. Especially the fact that I get to learn more about both James and John. And especially the latter. Honestly, I think I'm gonna put Keanu Reeves on my list of actors now. I don't know, man. But yeah, I got to learn more about these characters, and that's the whole point. I want to know who these characters are, and to see if I can be invested in them. And so yeah, I feel like Bond's analysis was pretty well done, especially when Wiz was listing off the things James is, and then Boomstick is like, "and deadliest of all, gamer." That's pretty funny. Especially when they talk about how much of a broken man this guy is. And anyways, and of course the superhero shit, and the guy having the world at the palm of his hands, which I feel like makes sense to say. Moving on to John's analysis. Now, I like how it starts off with Boomstick saying, imagine you made a mistake, and it was the biggest mistake you've ever made, that you're pretty much fucked for the rest of your life now. And Wiz says, yeah. I don't know what to say about that. But then they talk about a hypothetical that you stole a car from a guy whose wife has died, and so you broke into his house, beat him senseless, kill your dog, and steal his car. And the guy in question is the deadliest assassin to ever exist. He may be called Baba Yaga, but he is not the boogeyman. He is the man you send out to kill the goddamn boogeyman. John Wick. And then they talk about who Wick is, and that's pretty good. Yeah, but honestly, John Wick versus Beatrix Keto would have been a better matchup than this, but you know, you get matchups you like, you get matchups you wish you could have had, and that's that. While the matchup itself can affect how I like episode, if the episode itself can still be good, then yeah, I guess I could overlook the matchup. Also, they talk about Wick's fighting style as if it's not the same style that good old James Bond has. And he fought a fucking sumo wrestler. What the fuck? Bruh. Moving on to the... Let's move on to the fight before even more shit comes in. Pencil scene is savage as fuck, though. Imagine you are trying to kill this guy, and you the only one who has a weapon. Then he pulls out a pencil and starts killing you with it. What are you supposed to say? Yeah, man, I got myself killed by a damn pencil. It's like, bruh, you weak. Now, let's talk to the fight. Okay, so the fight starts off with James Bond, I guess, have himself a pen and a mission on hand to take out John Wick. While I do like what they try to do, it's like what Season 2 did. They try to tell something of a story, just like Lex Luthor versus Iron Man, and of course, Solid Snake versus Sam Fisher. Though in the latter, they pretty much don't even know each other, which fits with the fact that they're both stealth operatives. But of course, these two know each other by reputation, which fits them better. And it feels like they do know each other, with James calling John Baba Yaga, and John asking, what does MI6 want with me? Which I feel like they both know each other, which I already said that, but it's still pretty good. That's always interesting, to have it that the fight isn't just two people in the same world. Now they need to fight each other. It feels like the fighting is just the cherry on top of the world building that they know each other. When was I gonna say? Oh yeah. So James obviously knows John by reputation, and John knows James by reputation, which, like I said, fits them better. Especially the opening, where John is like killing is prohibited on company grounds. And James is like, lucky me. Because he knows full and well that his license to kill gives him a higher authority here. Which John obviously doesn't have for him. And James is unaware that he is willing to break that rule just to survive. And by that, we've seen John pull a gun on people before. Well, even in company grounds, so he's more than willing to do so, and would you look at that, he does. He does. And then they both have fighting, and are these legitimate human beings, or two robots that are made out of mannequins, because they move like ass. But then we have this interaction where, like I said, John asks what MI6 wants with them. And James' cocky attitude that was told in the analysis really shines through here. Especially the little wink he gives to John before firing his cigarette at him. Which is the one thing that the conclusion brings up, which it does mostly well on. Notice I say mostly. We're gonna get to that later. Then good old Johnny Boy fires his gun, and Jamie Boy fires his gun. What? Why was it a normal bullet? Could have been that shotgun bullet they mentioned. But anyways. Then losing his gun, John beats on James. And aims. James fires his watch, which John dodges. We're gonna get to that later. And then they both continue having a scrap, and John grabs himself James' pen. Now, if I'm being honest with y'all, I really tried to count how many times the pen was clicked. But I kinda ended up like, James here.
To be entirely honest, I lost count.
Yeah. So moving on, so after the goddamn pen explodes, we fall down to the next section. Oh, right then. So, yeah, John still is willing to still continue fighting despite seeing a pen explode. And then he sees that a car is at the window for some reason, and it has Gatling guns in its sunlight. And so he keeps dodging and rolling, because you know. And then John takes out James's remote for some reason. What do you mean for some reason? He obviously wants to malfunction the car, but that was a big mistake because then the car starts going haywire, shooting off Gatling gunfire everywhere. Meanwhile, John is having a knife fight while dodging the dang barrage of bullets, where John manages to stab James, but James headbutts him away, where he gets himself fired by the car, of course. Then James grabs his gun, John aims to point it, and the best scene of the episode happens, where the POV sequence that's most associated with the James Bond film happens. And it makes sense why John didn't fire his gun after that. He shot through the gun into John. And so, it's like, I don't give a shit if I don't have a gun, I'm still gonna kill you because I'm John fucking Wick. But then James allows the car to fire into John, who fires the watch laser and falls the chandelier. And John Wick, the same guy who would do anything to keep on going, even at the verge of death, lets himself die to a fucking chandelier. Why? You know, I have no words to say about the death, aside from the fact that John's phone literally goes out as soon as he dies, which is pretty sad when you think about it. And then James falls to the ground and says a pun, which I guess it's James Bond, I guess we'll slide. What I can't let slide, that Q tells him to grow up. What do you mean, grow up? Bro, you literally just called because you're worried. You even asked James what happened. And then you tell him to grow up because he says smashing? What were you thinking, Q? Oh my god, I sincerely hope Q isn't this stupid. Oh, and as for the conclusion, yeah, it's pretty, yeah, I like how they're like, James Bond is quicker on the draw, which can be seen in the POV sequence. And also, the big advantage James has over John is that many of his weapons are meant to look like normal everyday objects that are actually weapons in disguise. So that's good. But then they talk about the watch. John blocks the watch. I mean, not blocks. He literally points it out of the way. He just lets the frickin' and also, so James used that same watch to drop a chandelier. Yeah, and it's not like he pushed John then fired it afterwards. As soon as John fucking glands on the car, he literally sees the laser destroying the chandelier. Bro. Oh my god. Anyways, let's just continue. Let's just continue on with the conclusion. They say basically everything that they need to say why James wins. He's quicker on the draw. He has on the draw. His weapons are completely deadly than not even John Wick here can survive it, considering he's never fought anyone with an exploding round before. Just guys with guns, swords, and even more guns. And I like how Boomstick just tries to name all the James Bond movies, and then the fucking pen explodes, finally! Oh my god. That was such a painful cutaway cat that I feel like I threw up inside. But, alright, next episode. This episode is basically good, but the animation starts off slow, and it looks like it's from a cheap-ass game. That's all I want to say about the animation itself. It starts off ass, then it picks up the beginning, and then it has an ending where Jay's basically fucking takes too long to drop a chandelier on John, who basically just stands there and let the chandelier hit him and kill him. That's not very James. That's not very John of you, Wick. But you know, it's not very. And you know, no, James is pretty James right now. And I feel like I want to check out James Bond and John Wick. So, at least they succeeded at something. Next episode.
You're weak, despite your power.
Wait, how did I get a Marvel vs. DC matchup that I actually enjoy as the episode? So yeah, Black Adam vs. Apocalypse is pretty much a very solid episode. Starting off with the analysis, I like how Black Adams went. I like how they talked about his original Greek powers, which then transitioned to fucking Egyptian mythology. You know, Greek and Norse mythology are the fucking goats of the mythologies, but Egyptian mythology is still better than people give it credit for, despite its obvious reputation, of course. Now, as for Black Adam himself, I can see why Nemesis would like him against Doctor Doom. These two basically just want the best for their people, despite what their intentions may look like to the outside world. You know, they want what's best for their countries, and that's a good character, you know? They also mentioned him having, like, the Silver Lantern ring, so, yeah. Next, yeah, jokes. So, yeah, I do like the Shazam joke at the beginning, but then at the end, it's kind of like, what the fuck, man, you already said it. Said it. So, next up is Apocalypse. Let's talk about Apocalypse, ladies and gentlemen. So, right off the bat, it starts off with Boomstick basically saying a very epic tale, in which Wiz asks if he's talking about the Bible. But he's not. He's talking about Marvel Comics. They talk about how Apocalypse is. His original name is Ensabanur. He was originally despised until he was found. Yada yada yada. And then after every shit he's been put through, after everyone who despised him, he finally felt like it was time to stop trying to play the part of the hero. If no one will love Ensabanur, they will all fear Apocalypse. So yeah, he's apparently immune now. I mean, it was always immune, so they start with the Birdman things, which and then they talk about how Apocalypse. You know, sometimes it's weird how I mess up like that. And both have pretty solid jokes about them being Marvel, like DC gods. I like how Boomstick gets himself infected without them pointing it out, because you know, it's a lot better if they don't point it out and just continue going like nothing happened. Except for a few moments, of course. But then they talk about the Death Seed. Oh boy, the Death Seed. Now how it's the source of his power. They talk about how he used it, yada yada yada. But let's continue on because it's the fight I want to talk about. Oh boy, let's talk about the fight. That Black Adam's name is Ted Adam. By the way, that's actually stupid. I'm not stupid. But anyways, so good old Black Adam is destroying robots of Apocalypse, which is invading his country. And then this not Apocalypse, let's fire some shit at them, creates a drill, but then Black Adam takes him out with ease and asks where his general is, and calls him an interloper. The fake Apocalypse lasted for the commissioning, and then the real Apocalypse comes out and ready to throw hands. Then Black Adam goes against Apocalypse, and okay, the start is pretty much uninteresting as hell. But then Black Adam summons the lightning on him, absorbs it, and shoots it back at him, and then uses it to headbutt his ass. Then he creates weapons, and then they have a great exchange, where Black Adam uses, I presume, the wisdom of Sahuti to know where Apocalypse is. How the hell am I confusing the names? What the fuck? But yeah, he grabs the Death Seed out, but Apocalypse is like, bitch, please, and then just shoots his ass and puts the Death Seed in. Then Black Adam continues shooting lightning, Apocalypse grabbing and absorbs it. And Black Adam gets himself dogpiled. And I do like how Apocalypse can learn to fear him, and then Black Adam calling Apocalypse Ensabanur. That should be telling, but wait, how the hell did he get this decision from powering up as if he's a Dragon Ball character to now ready to throw hands with Apocalypse? What the fuck? Anyways, let's just continue on because this episode is too perfect to Too perfect for a little minor error like that to get in the way. So then Black Adam throws a giant tiger at him, a lightning tiger, and then this turns into Big Boy Apocalypse, where we get this silhouette illuminating and cooking up Black Adam something fierce. And then when we first see it, it's this silhouette only illuminated by the fucking moon, and that's perfect. I love that entrance. And then Apocalypse goes sort of punchy, which dodges, but then the Apocalypse finally gets to him, and he fists him down. Pause. And then Black Adam decides to stay there for some reason. You know, for a guy that says that you can knock him down how many times and he'll still get up, it's weird that he lets himself down there. And then he gets his Shazam shout. And unlike Billy's where it's like, Shazam! He says it with actual effort. It's like, say it with your chest, buddy! It's like, Shazam! And that is fake. Though we get this lightning where Apocalypse reacts to it as if it's just a minor inconvenience, as if it's just he got a needle. Well, and instead of getting struck by a powerful lightning. And then he regenerates and goes to stomp on Black Adam, who was like, Shazam! Shit. Bro, you were literally going to summon the lightning. Why the fuck did you stop? Stop. But then he gets his ass... And then he gets his face stomped in. And with the most ridiculous face in the world, where I'm sure people memed off of. And I like how, and while I do like the cracked screen thing and how it transitioned into like fucking the conclusion, I do think it doesn't fit the comic panel it was trying to say. Name me a comic panel where it literally has a cracked glass on it that is literally obscuring not only the end, but also the fucking Apocalypse looking at the kingdom as if he has well. Anyways, let's just move on to the conclusion. It's good enough, but they did call the living lightning just normal lightning, which I guess it's a reference to Gar vs. Toffee, death battle that's ass and everything, thing of the animation and conclusion, but still good at the analysis. I mean, it's like, but anyways, let's just... Right. But of course I need to talk about the music. The music! Fallen Gods is everything that Kings of Infinity could have been. And my god, is a good track. Well, obviously, I don't think it complements the fight. As a song on its own, it's pretty good. And I listened to this how many times? That's right. I'm a guy who's not that interested in rap music, and somehow they give me a rap music that I actually enjoy. What the fuck? How the hell is that possible? Let's see how they follow up this one.
This man isn't black! What?
The hell? Did you just follow up a Marvel vs. DC matchup that I actually enjoy with a Dragon Ball vs. Sonic matchup I actually enjoy? How do you do that death battle? Anyways, Xeno Trunks vs. Archie Silver is actually a pretty good episode, though not in terms of the analysis, because honestly, I didn't find it interesting whatsoever. It's the fight. My god, the fight. But first, I guess I can talk about the analysis. Jocelyn is here. I can say that, right? Even though I don't give a shit about better. Sorry, long term, DB fans, and that they both for the most part, follow their actual Dragon Ball and Sonic story, just in a different timeline. But like I said, it's the fight I want to talk about. Let's get this started. So first off, we have Silver just flying around. Perfect. Then he gets fired by fucking Ki Blast, and then he sends a building, which Trunks decides to slice up for some reason. Alright, to each their own. Then he stops Silver with "Stop! You're under arrest for unsafe time travel." Perfect opening. With Silver being like, are you serious? This is what I do all the fucking time, you son of a bitch. And then Trunks immediately claps his ass. Like, seriously, melee combat, Trunks is basically takes the W there. And then it's like, and then he fires a Masenko, in which throws at that, and then he dodges. Alright then. And then Silver just throws a fucking big rock at him, which he catches and turns into Super Saiyan. I think you were doing just fine without it. And then Silver turns into Super Silver. Alright. Right? And I like how they incorporate the "it's no use" phrase that this guy is known for. And then Trunks calling him a ripoff because that's what Vegeta said about Shadow in his other death battle. Then he sends Silver all the way to the fucking moon. Perfect. And then Silver destroys the moon for some reason. And Trunks says crap nuts. Then he throws everything at him. And then he does this card thing, which I guess works. So let's just continue. They got GT Goku and GT Pan, which they both are Kamehameha, and Trunks fires a Gallic Gun, in which Silver catches them and redirects it at them. Trunks, knowing full well that he's gonna do that, blocks it, and then Silver uses the two Kamehamehas to redirect them back at Trunks, which I guess works. But then also Pasa goes to Super Saiyan God and basically claps for his ass once again in melee combat. Hey, it's a rare instant that Super Saiyan God actually gets a death battle, but then Silver tries to catch his final flash, which looks visually perfect, but gets overwhelmed. Well, dead ass, this rivals Vegeta's final flash in his battle against Thor. But of course, then he uses that weird Keyblade thing, and then he forces Silver to go in and out of Super. And I like how reality around them is literally warping. And then they both go somewhere. I don't know what it is. I don't give a shit. But then we get the best ending ever. There are many endings that rival this, but my god, they turned Silver, a guy who literally is the butt of the fucking joke in the Sonic community, and then turn him into a fucking badass with the "it's no use" being like, if you put that line in the right context, it can even be legitimately terrifying. And I like how he just doesn't let the sword stab Trunks as he catches it. No, he literally had to use his psycho ability to literally stab Trunks with it. My god, that is so... Oh my god, that is so good. Ooh. That is the best ending. Yes, I want it. I want more of it. But anyways, let's continue. Going on. God, the conclusion comes and it's fine. Overall, the animation is pretty pretty much perfect. Both characters get to be badasses, and both get to have comedic moments too, and that's a perfect balance. Though I do wish the analysis and conclusion were more interesting to me, but, you know, you went sub-unique, so. I like how debatable this matchup is. It's like, many people were confident that Trunks was gonna get the win, but then Silver gets the W here. You know, that's pretty much that's pretty much perfect, and I love it. I fucking love the animation, but then the next episode I was completely not expecting, so let's talk about it. Edge of Tomorrow is fucking based, by the way.
He's not SpongeBob. Moving on.
0 out of 10, the fucking matchup sucks balls. But the episode is good, so I'm probably not gonna complain too much. So, this episode was weird, unexpected, and honestly one of the last matchups I would expect for SpongeBob. But I do think the episode is good. It's pretty funny, but not completely perfect. They start off with this fan theory about nuclear thing in the past thing, but like everything, it's easily debunkable. Well, it's clear that, and while many people would argue, well, this world clearly is in our real world, so honestly, this theory holds up. That actually does the opposite, because the timing is wrong. But enough of that stupid fan theory, let's talk about how Wiz loses his fucking mind. Yeah, they start up by saying SpongeBob is lame, but he actually isn't. And then they try to say Aquaman is not lame, but he is. Which, sure, that works, but, you know, he becomes the fucking moon, what the fuck. So, obviously, there's a lot of things to like as a SpongeBob fan. But then again, I don't give a shit about SpongeBob as a character. I don't give a shit about SpongeBob as a whole. I think it's funny, and that's pretty much it. It's like I could say that for any other slapstick cartoon like fucking Looney Tunes. Though like I said, Wiz loses his shit over this. So yeah. From the bubbles to the drawing to the fact that he literally unraveled the entire universe. That brutal moment where he gets beat on by the fucking blue version of himself. It's the only sign of blood in this, and Wiz is somehow fine. So yeah, I do think SpongeBob's is pretty good, but not the best, but still pretty solid. Except...
Took more than one adventure to prove himself to be a real hero. You think he ever banged that squirrel?
Yeah, keep in mind, even if this wasn't a kid's show, it's still a disgusting joke to make. Moving on from that, Aquaman's analysis was also pretty good and pretty funny, and while I like Wiz just losing his mind over how powerful SpongeBob is, this guy is desperately finding a way to make this guy seem cooler than he is. So yeah, so yeah, that was very funny, and then Wiz just gives up. You know? No, that is pretty funny. But then we get to the animation, and honestly, this is rough. And honestly, aside from the death and the several portals that come up, this is probably a good SpongeBob episode if it ever whatever was on the show. Because that's all this episode is, a SpongeBob episode. And to SpongeBob fans, I bet it's fucking amazing. But I don't give a shit about SpongeBob, so unsurprisingly, I don't care that this is a SpongeBob episode, because if I really wanted to watch a SpongeBob episode, I would go on Netflix and open up an episode of SpongeBob and enjoy myself there. Starting off, we have Aquaman pretending to be a hero, punching Bob a lot, and then though I don't know how SpongeBob is talking about what kind of sponge he is. I don't remember him talking about that in the show, but then he gets his karate gear, and then the fight starts to have some actual pace with very funny old school comic and cartoon, I guess, and the zany stuff that have SpongeBob. Though the portals are pretty much a Rick and Morty thing, so I don't know why it's in here, other than the fact that the team writer thinks, hey, let's just put a Rick and Morty thing in a SpongeBob episode. You dig? But of course, Aquaman tries to mind control him. It doesn't work, so he gets himself punched in the stomach by a bubble missile, and then gets himself blown up. Sends some eels on him to he splits apart, and then we get hyper-realistic Aquaman. What the fuck? That's too funny. And then we get this fucking gang. I'm gonna absorb all the water shit. Why, SpongeBob? What was your point in all that? Okay. And I like how that's like, out of all the multiverses of Aquaman, I'm the lamest fucking one! I do like the dolphin current sensor thing and the explosion thing that happens in SpongeBob. That's pretty nice to have, but it's not a perfect episode, of course. The portal things are weird. Aquaman acts like a dick when he and then SpongeBob is SpongeBob. Though I do like the Doodle Bob scene, and the fact that after Aquaman cuts his pencil in half and tries to draw a something thing, SpongeBob throws the eraser at him. And then he sends him to the other side of the universe, and the French narrator says it. Come on, the French narrator is certainly the thing that helps out SpongeBob episodes. And I wish if SpongeBob were to fight Gumball, I want this to happen. But then again, it probably doesn't have the cartoony vibe this one has. And the sad ending is touching, though he does say, "Here lies Ocean Man," which is a running joke that he doesn't know how to say Aquaman's name right. But hey, to someone who has less brain cells than an average anime community, that's fine to have. So overall, the episode is fine, but the conclusion, my god, the conclusion is what carries it. I like the Wiz. I like how Wiz quotes, "This was close," and then says, "Gotcha." And then they go in how fucked it is, and the only positive they give to Aquaman is that he won the moral battle. And then the negative is everything else. And then they ironically use I-A-M-O, which literally means laughing my ass off. Or is it M-I-M-A, whatever. The conclusion carries that in episode because of how fucking funny it is. Though honestly, everything about this is funny for me. And by God, Ben, you've you've basically put as much energy into your performance as you did with Excalibur versus Raiden. Good job. That is perfect. So yeah, while it's disappointing that SpongeBob didn't fight Gumball, which is, I think, the better matchup for him, the episode we got is still pretty good. But then, we get the most total whiplash we've ever gotten in the show's history.
I love horror movies.
Jason vs. Michael finally appeared on Death Battle. And it fucking sucks, not gonna lie, Wiz. Starting off with the analysis, it's not really analysis. It's basically Macho Man versus Kool-Aid Man, but shit. Not to... Okay, to be fair, I never liked Macho Man versus Kool-Aid Man to begin with, but I can at least say there are things in there that I could say it's enjoyable. Unlike this, where it's basically just story versus story. And my guy, just get to the verses already. There's so little verses that it's pretty much useless. I swear to you, that is just... Okay, I understand what they were going for, but the problem is it's just too much story, and usually it's the fucking opposite problem. It's just too much analysis and not enough story. But you need to have a balance of both. Like, you either get Aang versus Edward or Jason versus Michael. There's an in-between, and you should be there. But yeah, the analysis is just all story. I like how each member goes off each time. First, I think it was first Dummy, then Ringmaster, then Jocelyn, I believe. Could be wrong. But then we get to the fight, and my god, that is where the episode drops the ball. No bullshit, guys. The episode drops the ball here. But while I do like they were trying to go for a different one, that's very good. Good of them. And to be fair, the opening is practically flawless. Palma tossed from beyond the grave, encouraging her son, Jason, to kill, and kill. We see a girl running, covered in blood, who we assume was Jason that's chasing her. But then, we get the POV sequence. It's Michael who kills the girl. Jason, got the machete, is ready to kill his victim, but seeing his victim is already dead. And then, Michael comes up from behind and stabs him. Then we get this anime-style fighting, oh my god, I don't really associate that with these two, but Michael stabbing Jason multiple times is pretty good. But then we get the guy that the episode seems to like too much. Okay, Nemesis called this guy Joe Victim. Why? I'm just gonna call him Jaden for no particular reason. So, good old Jaden boy here is running big for his fucking life, seeing that there's no one behind him, and hopefully no one coming. But of course, Michael comes in and didn't kill him. Why? This guy ain't tough, he's just a normal human. And then Michael... oh wait, Jason is the one who pulled this guy out of And then these two start scrapping. And I swear, and then Jason kills the guy. Michael goes for the swing. Jason catches it and throws it. I swear to fuck, this is just anime-style fighting, and that's not Jason versus Michael. This is anime-style fighting. And then we have Michael acting more than Jason does by grabbing a tombstone and smashing his head on it. And then Michael goes in to kill Sin, and I do like this sequence where Jason looks at his mother's grave, Pamela Voorhees. And we see that despite who Jason is, he's still human and will do anything for his own mother. And so he gets out of that bind and goes in to stab Michael, who throws a knife on his head, which does nothing. Ironically, as soon as Jason tries, he basically bodies Michael, and bashes his head. Then we get this incredibly long and unnecessary shot of Jason just walking away, as if Michael is coming back. Well, I do like Boomstead asking if Michael is really dead, because you can't be too careful with these two, but still, this is pretty much the most disappointing fight ever, focusing too much on the victim instead of the actual killers, which you would think is pretty difficult to fuck up, but Jason vs. Michael says otherwise. And, well, you know, the conclusion comes and it's fine. Though I do think they should have acknowledged Jason basically has every stat going for him, but Michael doesn't. But hey, who's really gonna give a shit, right? Right? So yeah, that was Jason versus Michael, which is the most disappointing fight ever. We got 3 more episodes to talk about, and let's see if they can pick up in quality.
I shall claim what is mine. Return to your deathly hollow.
Alrighty, then. Lord Sauron versus the Lich King. Well, this is the first reaction video I've ever made, so let's see if it holds up. Starting off with the analysis, I liked how both rundowns went, and honestly, if I was a fan of these kinds of genres, I would honestly like it even more. But even with the context, I'm not a fan of either of those. My god, the analysis are... they're good. Right. Righty then. Lord Sauron's in particular, while I don't find all the jokes funny, especially the early ones, the rundown of story and verses is flawless. Especially Lord Sauron's and the Lich King. And the Lich King is good though, too, but Lord Sauron is, my god, the highlight of this. So, while the only joke I've ever actually got a reaction out of me is the fucking nerd joke. It's just none of the jokes hit me. It's just they didn't get a reaction out of me, just the blankest face ever. But then, you know what did get a reaction out of me? The fight. Okay, this is a perfect setup. The Lich King is sitting there on his throne. As if he's waiting. And then, Lord Sauron comes in with this massive shadow. No. Get a freaking is just that is intimidating, and that's the whole point. It's supposed to be intimidating. You succeeded. Good. And then they talk with Lord Sauron saying, "I shall claim what is mine." His voice sounds eerily similar to Noob Saibot from MK, specifically 11, but I'll live. And I don't know about the Lich King's voice though. It sounds similar to something. It's like it's so familiar. Oh yeah, the fight starts, and then the Lich King is immediately on the offensive. So, and Civ and summoning his helpers to, well, fight Sauron. What do you expect? Then Sauron takes one of them, turns it into his own, and then throws a snowball at it, which vaporizes. But not to make that whole sequence useless, he then turns into a big-ass wolf and actually tries to bite on him. Then the paw transitioning to a head, which she tries to choke the Lich King with, and then push him to the edge, and then make the most straightforward threat. "I shall tear out your heart." Which, yes, that is pretty savage, but it is Lord Sauron, so what the fuck do you expect? So, but then the Lich King obviously claps back by saying there's nothing there, and then creates a snowstorm in which Lord Sauron's response to that is to erupt a volcano in the background. And my god, is it impactful, full as all hell. And then he says, "I see you," saying to the Lich King that your sneak attack has failed. And then we get this great sequence where Lord Sauron and the Lich King both in areas with their respective color of element. But then, Lord Sauron leaves, and that causes the Lich King to infect him. His body weakened. And then, stabbing him, the Lich King says to Lord Sauron that he serves him. Sauron, who is a being that he finds himself above mortals, finds this offensive that a fucking mortal says that he serves him, and he makes it clear that he does not like it. With the most goddamn threatening voice ever. "I serve nobody," turning himself into the Eye of Sauron, and doesn't waste time. He shows the Lich King that he will die by witnessing the prophecy, an ending that basically he finds himself dies in, telling to Lord Sauron that he speaks nothing but lies. He destroys the eye, but then, or so we thought, because Lord Sauron comes in and destroys the Lich King's sword, destroying his eye as well. And then, what happens? The Lich King finally showing a sign of concern. the sight of fear, Lord Sauron takes away the Lich King's soul, or so I believe, leaving him nothing but an empty husk. Sitting on the Lich King's throne, we then see it fully taken over by Lord Sauron. The Lich King failed to protect his throne. He never stood a chance, and he died the most epic way possible. That is a perfect death battle. No, and I tell you, I want to be into fantasy now because, my god, this is too good. But obviously it's not perfect. There are obviously some things I don't like. The jokes in the analysis were shit. The fucking Lich King floating in the air looks stupid as hell. Also, when did they say he can do that? I think they did. But even so, they could have made it less stupid. And the Lich King looks incredibly bulky next to Sauron. I don't know how to feel about that. But then the conclusion comes in, and it's fine. It's borderline perfect, I guess, except for the fact that they say that the guy who destroyed the island in Warcraft had some help. But hey, you win some, you lose some. But yeah, this is basically the first episode to bring back the quality that Jason vs. Michael has failed to deliver on. But then the next time happens, and my god, it is my fault. It is my fault for the matchup. But let's just talk about it. Let's just talk about it.
Let the locker stuffing commence! Haha, get nerds!
You know, I requested this matchup, but I never thought Death Battle would actually do it. So let's start off with the analysis. Deku's was pretty good. I like how it's like Dekurobu, which means useless, which is why Bakugo calls him Deku, so he can call him good for nothing, considering. Oh, but then of course, after a few moments in, they said that Deku could also be as Deku, which means one who can do anything. And honestly, he becomes that kind of hero, you know? No, he becomes fucking Spider-Man, and I don't know how to feel about that. Well, I do like the story of him as, like, this normal fucking person who has aspirations to become a hero, to help people, you know? Oh, but unfortunately he can't? That's of course understandable. Oh, and I like how Bakugo, who's his lifetime rival, still helps him out in his journey. Heck, Deku even gave him One for All in that one movie. I don't know. But then we get to Asta's, and here I need to correct a massive mistake I've made. So in the episode, they say that Asta swords are like oversized clubs, right? And I said, and they compared it to medieval swords. Now, I don't know what I was thinking when I tried to justify what they said, but I was wrong, because swords are meant to be sharp, because if they're not, they're essentially useless. So, yeah, that's a big mistake I made. But then they used Uno reverse card, and that's fucking hilarious. Me and my friends used that as a giant joke a lot. But of course, but you know, that's besides the point. Plus, he does have a sword that cuts through like a normal sword, so that's pretty much nice. Oh, and he uses the swords like he's fucking Zoro. We'll get to that. Now, though the chat that stuffs nerds in a locker joke is, well, I have nothing to say about that because I don't say about that because it's not a joke that I hate or a joke that I like. It's like every single joke in the series nowadays. Peace. And also, Lightspeed sneezes. But they also say that Asta likes screaming at the top of his lungs. Keep that in mind. Alright? Right? So then we get to the animation. And immediately, I see what kind of atmosphere they're going with. A tournament. And by the looks of things, it is a friendly tournament. Otherwise, it would be out of character for not only Deku, but also Hercule Satan, who makes a cameo at the end. So the first thing they do... So they say that, well, Deku needs to try to achieve light speed. Asta can just do so just by sneezing and in his sleep. And then we brilliantly see Deku blitzing Asta. Maybe he is not portrayed as less fast, maybe, I don't know. But of course he sends it because both are anime characters, and if there's anything to say about anime characters, they're bullshit. Only second to comic book characters. So yeah, I like how Deku questioned that swords are supposed to be sharp. Which obviously they're supposed to, and he is technically allowed to bring in sharp swords in this kind of tournament, so I'll let it slide. But of course he pulls a Zoro and so he hits Deku, who uses Black Whip to catch him, and then just ground, and then use Detroit Smash over and over again, just to get the first time he does so his swords, the second time, so he just punches him, and then the final time he shoots it out of his mouth like he's fucking Asui. You're not the frog girl, my guy. Let the tongue thing be for girl. Also, people complain that Deku is in his up-to-date manga design, while Asta is still in his anime design. But I don't give a shit. Though honestly, I would prefer if he didn't come shirtless. Then he slices up the building, says the funny "I don't know what Detroit is" line, and then gets to scrapping in his demon form, or whatever it is. And then Deku kicks the air, which somehow sends his building. What? I don't know. It's unclear. And then Asta screams at him and tells it to give him all. And then they still get to scrapping with a lot of continuity issues, obviously. But this thing has too. Now, obviously, it is essential for there to be continuity, because if any random bullshit can happen, why should I care? There. And of course, he uses the 1,000,000%. Now, remember when I told you they like to mock Asta as having him screaming at the top of his lungs? Especially when they say his favorite line is "ah," which is essentially just screaming. Deku screams just as much as he does. In fact, I think he does that more. Which makes sense. He screams out these attacks over and over and over again, you know? But then I think to exhaust all of One for All, and then Asta kills him. Now this is a problem people say, Asta's character. I think Deku's as well, but honestly, I don't give a shit about either of these characters. Honestly, I just thought I would do this match for no reason. But like I said, it's Death Battle who did it. What am I saying? Why am I trying to blame on Death Battle? This is my matchup that I requested, and it became an episode. Why do I try to blame Death Battle for doing a matchup I just basically gave them, essentially? Okay, look, conclusion aside, yada yada yada. Let's just move on before the guilt consumes me even more. Oh my god, it's already this. Alright, let's talk about the finale.
Is this fan fiction?
Yes, Boomstick, it is fan fiction. And honestly, people claim that people on Death Battle are biased towards Dragon Ball, and really there's no better evidence for them than this episode. Vegito vs. Gogeta is basically the episode that I do enjoy, but I can't help but this is the worst way to end off this very solid season. This is probably the lamest matchup they could have done, and the whole episode feels like a Dragon Ball fan fiction mixed in with the versus element of Death Battle. Oh my god, the analysis, well, it's pretty much these two are the same characters, but we're trying to stretch them. Though, the thing I probably retained is Gogeta came first before Vegito, and Vegito is also called Vegerot. Fuck, I do like Boomstick being like, I like Boomstick is like, I'm trying to think of the word, but I can't think of it. I kind of forgot. Oh, whatever. I do like talking about obscure characters and how Gogeta becomes Bugs fucking Bunny. Neat, despite being in Super Saiyan 4, in which Goku claims enhances a Saiyan's rage. But once again, this. And while I do like how they clear up, neither of them are actually fucking serious or goofballs. They just basically, their personality is depending on the situation of the time. And I do like that in the conclusion. Everything else is pretty much obvious. Really, they should have said Vegito wins because Dragon Ball acknowledges just that Vegito is better than Gogeta. And to argue against it is to argue against Dragon Ball themselves. So yeah, they should have just said that. The fight, meanwhile, well, I do like how it starts, with the dragon basically summoning Goku and Vegeta from different points in time, or maybe they're clones, I don't know. Now, I do like the interactions they have, though, and then they're like, hey, let's fight each other. Alright, we'll do the dragon... No, we'll do the fusion dance, and then you can do the Pataras. It's like, alright, let's go. Like, fusion, huh? And then it's like, go! Now, of course, I do know... Now, of course, they do, replicate that, fucking, what the fuck is it called? Dragon Ball Fighter Z intro, with their fist and stuff. And while they do scrap, and then they headbutt to turn to Super Saiyan, I do like that. Vegito pulls out his hand saber, Gogeta blast him. Really, this is the most Dragon Ball fight ever, and I do quite like it as someone who does enjoy Dragon Ball. Though Vegito, though that variety line Gogeta says is just why. And then he turns into Super Saiyan 4. Alright then. And and Vegito is Super Saiyan Blue. So you can enjoy both of them having a scrap. But then we get to the final Kamehameha versus the Big Bang Kamehameha. And while I don't mind the fact that both say that Gogeta says Big Bang and Vegeta says final, and then both say Kamehameha together, but the actual attacks themselves look nothing like the Big Bang Kamehameha or the final Kamehameha, and they teleported to I don't know, then teleports into this area, which, wait, are they supposed to be dead when they come here? I don't know. And then Gogeta turns to Super Saiyan Blue. Now my one complaint about this is, why did he do that? And no, it's not because I don't like Super Saiyan Blue or I think so. I don't know, I don't give a flying rat ass about that kind of shit. I just want to ask, why does he do that? They say the analysis that both are pretty much similar in power. So why did he do that? Because he got grabbed by his tail? Why? Oh wait, I know why they do it. So they can reference the Broly movie. And that's pretty much all this episode is. A reference, a shot by shot from Dragon Ball, or even the DBX. But it's still pretty fun. But it's still fun as hell. And the final bit, while I do like it, I can't help but say that it's confusing as hell. It confused me at least because I'm pretty sure that doesn't happen, and it made me think of Ashura's Wrath. Also, why does Vegeta use his regular Kamehameha but the final Kamehameha in the beginning? Who is he, Danny Phantom? But yeah, he gets hit by it. Then Gogeta uses whatever this is. I would like to say it's the Dragon Fist, but they don't bother showing the dragon. Also, where did the blood come from? And what the fuck is this ending? Are they trying to reference Ashura's Wrath in a Dragon Ball episode? What? But with that aside, the fist bump is nice. Oh my god. And the conclusion, like I said, is fine. But this is probably the most disappointing finale they've ever done. And even if the matchup is ass, the whole fight feels like a fan fiction. The whole episode feels like a fan fiction. This is a Dragon Ball fan fiction in a versus show. And that bothers me because it's like obviously you can tell like a story, but don't make it blatantly obvious that this is because you're a fan of Dragon Ball and you want to do this fucking matchup. Leave that to the Dragon Ball fans to debate. Oh my god. Oh, and Wiz makes an unintentional pun where he says context is key, while discussing how both personalities is based on the situation on hand, and they mock Vegeta. Sure, let's just suck on Goku's dick and make fun of Vegeta. Yeah, it's like, oh my god, this episode has too many flaws for me to consider it a good episode. Oh my god. But of course, Dragon Dance is a good compliment meant to the match. Let's just hope Season 10 has a better finale. Oh, and Wizard Boomstick fuse, and I didn't want to see the fusion, so that's one thing I can say they succeed at. But alright. That's all I want to say. Alright. Finally, it's done. Let's hope season 10 can be as good as season 9. And that's all I want to say. Goodbye. Bye to all of you. I need a break, guys.